wrapped up in my sleeping bag, looking out the window at Aaron's house as the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon. And the trees are silhouetted black against the emerging blue sky with the fading stars up in the sky. And I think to myself how much I hate Aaron because he's got it fucking made with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. I hope he dies. I hope he dies of syphilis. You piece of shit.
Do you guys like good news? I like good news. And I don't know about you, but within the category of good news, bad things happening to bad people, I consider that good news because it is. It's from the Hetchinger report that was sent to me by a friend on Facebook. I was like, oh, look at this. The number of 18-year-olds is about to drop sharply, packing a wallop for colleges and the economy. Oh, man. Man. My brain already raced to the conclusion. Unless you have a wealthy endowment, you're going to go away. And for those with, billion-dollar endowments, they're basically just going to become nonprofit think tanks that will espouse Marxist leftist bullshit. I hate to sound so repeating and parroting, oh, cause sure, Cappy, everything's dark and gloomy and the glass is half empty. I'm like, no, it's what's going to happen. I've earned it now, man. I've lived long enough to see all my predictions come true and everyone calling me every day, oh, you don't like that, you just don't believe me. And like, oh, am I right again? I'm going to be right again. Okay. Mark my words. Pickup trucks with trailers and cars with yawning trucks piled up onto untended lawns in front of the buildings from which people lug books, furniture, mattresses, trophy cases, and artwork. Anything else of value had already been sold by a company that specializes in auctioning off the leftover assets of failed businesses. Aww. At least one of the buildings was soon to be demolished altogether. Its red brick walls dumped into its 1921 foundation. So you had probably a pretty building and you made it some 1970s horse shit, and now it's just an eyesore that's gone. I would have felt bad if it was an old building, but it's not. This was the unceremonious end of Iowa's Wesleyan University, a 181-year-old institution. That's almost as long as the country's been around. That closed in 2023 after financial losses due in part to discounts it gave out as it struggled to attract a shrinking pool of students. Have you thought, look at that building. That's a beautiful building. 181 years, huh? Was Iowa even a state then? That probably predates Iowa being a state. Let me guess. It had Wesleyan. That's religious, right? It had religious foundings. It got taken over by the leftist job-seeking or job-avoidant mafia. We turned into some Marxist, woke, DEI place of employment for these parasites to suck whatever finances it had dry. You offer no real degrees because none of you teachers offer any real skills. It's not like this was an engineering powerhouse or an accounting academy, right? And then people stopped attending because you probably charged too much. And slowly but surely, my work is being done among the work of others like Mike Rowe, pointing out the worthlessness of all these college degrees. Am I close? Am I close? There's no one to ask because they're all gone. You close in 2023. All the things that are mementos of the best 4 years of a lot of people's lives are sold to the highest bidders. That's sad that if college, that was the best of your life was college, huh? So 22 and it's over, huh? You're a loser if college was the best part of your life. You're a loser. The only person that you're a bigger loser to, less of a loser would be when you peaked in high school. I loves it when bad people have bad stuff happen to them. Mementos of the best 4 years of a lot of people's lives are sold to the highest bidders when a college closes, said Doug Moore, founding partner of a firm that has shut down 4 of them in the last few years, including Iowa Wesleyan. There will soon be many more such scenes. A preponderance of evidence suggests that's because the current class of high school seniors is the last before a long decline begins and the number of 18-year-olds. Well, good thing all you feminists told men they're icky and gross. We're not going to have none of that, kids. You didn't want me barefoot, pregnant. I'm going to go and become a girl boss. Thus spoke all the women's studies majors. And now, oh my God, there's not enough young, dopey, naive 18-year-old girls you could hoodwink into majoring in women's studies. Didn't San Francisco, no, not San Diego, one of the California towns, their women's studies program had to close because there wasn't enough attendees. Apparently, young women are waking up and realizing what a pissing away of time and money that would be. Hey, you could just read this book about feminism and have the exact same employment prospects, minus the $80,000 tuition tab. Okay, that sounds like a good idea for me. You don't need a degree to hate men. I don't know. No, you don't. You can start right now. Here's our pamphlet, How to Hate Men. Oh, good. I was looking for this. I was going to go pay $78,000 to a bunch of old spinster harpy shrews on how to professionally learn to hate men. But no, this is a self-teaching program. I'd rather do this. The traditional age of students when they enter college. This so-called demographic cliff has been predicted ever since Americans started having fewer babies at the advent of the Great Recession around the end of 2007. A falling birth rate that has not recovered since. What are the waistlines looking like on your average American? When I want to start fucking people at Walmart again, then the birth rate problem, then our fertility crisis will be over. When people are sexy again at Walmart, when I walk into Walmart, I want to bang a couple gals in there. This problem will go away. Except for a slight blip after the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the Centers for Disease Control. Demographers say will finally arrive in fall of this year. That's when recruiting offices will begin to confront a long anticipated drop off in the number of applicants from among the next class of high school seniors. But the downturn isn't just a problem for universities and colleges. It's a looming crisis for the economy. No, it's not. If we get rid of all of our social programs and Social Security and Medicaid, which would be against my own personal financial interests by my age, it won't matter. You can eliminate the fertility crisis by eliminating the welfare state, and then you won't have to worry about whether populations go up or down. It's a looming crisis for the economy, with fewer graduates eventually coming through the pipeline to fill jobs that require college educations. No, you don't need college degrees to fill. You don't need college degrees for jobs anymore. And if you watch my previous video, you shouldn't be, unless, again, engineering, accounting, doctors, things like that. Just go into the trades. There's no reason to go work at corporate America. Why would you want to work in corporate America? That is no longer the destination. Besides, you're all outsourcing it to the Philippines and India, right? That's what you all said, right? Corpo said that. Oh no! So this decades-long nightmare of going to college only to not get a living wage job in corporate America is coming to an end. Thank God it only ruined 3 generations of people. Even as international rivals increase their portions of populations with degrees, college degrees don't mean anything. They are not a good thing. They are generally, at least in the United States, a bad thing. That's good if we have less cancer. That's good if fewer people are smoking cigarettes. It's great if people are getting thinner, and it's great if we're issuing less college degrees. The impact of this is economic decline. Jeff Stroll, director of Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce, said bluntly, no, it's not. We just go into the trade. Look. Do you want to do a little protectionist measures, say like tariffs? Do you want to ban local companies from hiring foreign immigrants, foreign laborers, outsourcing jobs overseas? Do you want to reverse NAFTA? I'm not even for that, by the way. I'm just saying, are you willing to create jobs here that don't require a college degree? Man, they all really want you to go to college. They really just want you to go to college. That professorial class just needs your young blood money because apparently Social Security isn't enough. As fresh data emerges, the outlook is only getting worse. An analysis of the higher education consulting firm Ruffalo Noel Levitz, using the latest data available, census figures now projects another drop in the number of 18-year-olds beginning in 2033 after a brief uptick. By 2039, this estimate shows there will likely be 650,000 and 15% fewer of them per year than there are now. Oh, no. Oh, well, I guess we need less colleges and universities. Wouldn't we also need less housing? That should inevitably relax demand on how. Oh, we got to import a bunch of immigrants. Oh, well, I'm sure that'll fix things. That'll keep house prices low. These findings sync up with another new report. How many reports from academic institutions are we going to have to read here where they're just going to protect their own ass? Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education says that the number of 18-year-olds nationwide who graduate from high school each year and are therefore candidates for college will erode by 13% and nearly 500,000 by 2041. A few 100,000 per year might not sound like a lot, Stroh said, but multiply that by a decade long and it has a big impact. This comes after colleges and universities have already collectively experienced a 15% decline in enrollment between 2010 and 2021. No, man. I'd like to think I helped with that. I like to think I put a lot of you worthless people out of business and out of work. Now you got to go work real jobs like the rest of us did. I say did because I'm not working a real job now, and I fully admit that. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, that means they have already 2.7 million fewer students than they did at the start of the last decade. In the first half of 2024, more than a college a week announced that it would close. Still more new research from the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia projects that the pace of college closings could now accelerate. Oh, no. So there's going to be some land with some dorms available that you could convert into housing apartments to help out some of the younger, poorer people, right? You're going to convert those to housing, right? That's what you're going to, right? 21 higher education institutions defaulted on municipal bonds last year, the principal source of credit, or reported operating ratios that shrank enough to risk default, according to firms provided by the research firm Municipal Market Analysis. In 2023, the total was 17, those compared to 2022 and the previous 5 years combined. The bond rating agency Fitch this month categorized the outlook for the higher education sector as deteriorating. The news is not all bad. For students, it means a buyer's market. Really, are colleges lowering tuition? Let me guess. If I were to go and look up tuition prices, they haven't come down. Colleges and universities on average are admitting a larger portion of their applicants than they did 20 years ago. New research by the conservative think tank, the American Enterprise Institute, finds. And tuition, when adjusted for inflation, is declining according to the College Board. Housing and dining charges continue to... Okay, all right. So it's costing more to go to... Just say it costs more. All these Democrats, all these colleges and universities, well, we just care about your education so much. Then charge less. But the likely closing of more colleges is by itself a threat to the economy. No, it isn't. Nearly 4 million people work in higher education, the National Center for Education Statistics. Good, then they could serve coffee or pick fruit or mow yards or actually do something productive for the first time in their lives. Though most of the imperiled colleges tend to be small, each one that closes translates to average a loss of 265 jobs and a $67 million a year in economic impact. No, that's just $65 million that kids would go and spend other places, maybe on cars. Maybe some of you professors could go work at the auto factory. Maybe you guys could drive Uber. Maybe you could become carpenters and build more housing to help alleviate the cost of housing on the American population. It's not like, oops, we got rid of the college and then we're out 67 million. No, that 67 million will just be spent on other things. And to be perfectly honest, I know this is tremendously boring. If there's no apparent use for it, you know what happens to it? It goes into the bank. You know what that does? Drives up savings. You know what higher savings means? Lower interest rates. You mean on housing and cars and stuff? Yes. I know it goes against everything you were told as Americans, but you don't have to spend every single penny and $70 more. You could put the money in the bank and leave it there. When the fall off in the number of 18-year-olds has been largely characterized as an existential crisis for colleges and universities, the implications are much broader. It's a problem for our country. No, it isn't. I'm going to keep telling you it's not a problem. Said Catherine Bond-Hill, an economist, former vice president of Vassar College. Oh, so you have a bias. You need that. Let me ask you something, Miss Bond. Do you have a job outside of academia? Have you thought about becoming a carpenter or a tradesperson, tradeswoman? Yeah, economists don't do anything. Ask me how I know, because I was one. Higher education consulting firm from Ithaca S plus R. The United States has fallen to ninth among developed nations, the proportion of its population with some education after high school, according to the organization Economic Cooperation Development. Hill pointed out. That's good. We should drop down to about 40th. Because I don't know if you notice this, but the college experience has impoverished 3 generations of people now. And you have not given them an education that helps improve the economy or our growth, let alone control inflation. You can outproduce money printing. It's rare, but it can happen. We should be aiming for number 1. That way I and all my colleagues can make more money and never actually have to get calluses on our hands, she said. She didn't say that. I added that. And an economy depends on skilled labor. We're falling short. So we should all go into the trades. Because I got news for you. An economics degree is not skilled labor. The liberal arts, not skilled labor. Most of these colleges. Was Wesleyan a liberal arts college? Not skilled labor. Oh, that's for the poors and the brown people to do the yard work. You're supposed to put up the roof, not us. See, we have no callus on our hands. I actually do have callus on my hands because I was just doing trim work on a tree. Never mind. The diminishing supply of young people will contribute to a massive labor shortage. No, it won't. They'll just go on to actually produce things like housing. Did you notice there's a housing shortage? Like, I wonder if we just got a generation of kids to go to trade school instead of college, if that would help housing and mechanics rates and auto repair and the reliability of vehicles on the road. I'm wondering. Massive labor shortage with an estimated 6 million fewer workers between now and 2032 than there are jobs needed to be filled, according to the labor market analysis firm Lightcast. Not all these jobs call for a college education, but many do. No, you don't need them. You don't need them. You really don't need them. 43% of them will require at least a bachelor's degree by 2031. Bachelor's required, master's preferred to do paper filing. I'm sorry your little racket is coming down around you guys. So sorry. That means more positions in the workforce will demand some kind of post-secondary credentials than Americans are now projected to earn. Or you just get rid of all the unnecessary college education requirements. That'd just be me. Have you thought about having training programs? Have you thought about that? They just go and try and protect their own. Still unpublished research underway at Georgetown forecasts major shortages in teaching. Healthcare is true. Maybe you should make it not so hard to go become a doctor, and maybe you should make it so the degenerates of society doesn't get free healthcare all the time and just sop up the morale of our health workers. In other fields, and some level of skill shortfalls at 151 occupations, Stroll said, if we don't keep our edge in innovation and college level education, he said, those two are not the same. They are not the same. We'll have a decline in the economy and ultimately a decline in the standard of living. Oh, like we do now. Oh, you mean like all the college educated kids who are in debt because of their student loan debts and they're suffering a low standard of living already? Boy, you must need that Lexus, buddy, huh? Young people, do you know who your friend? Do you see who your friends and enemies are? Do you see? I'm not reading through the rest of this horse shit because it's bullshit. I do want to go to this. This is also from Hecklinger. Tracking college closures and mergers. The number of nonprofit colleges and universities keeps ticking higher. Across the country, colleges are increasingly shuttering as enrollment continues to decline due to natural population trends and higher operating costs. At the end of 2024, the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia could develop a model to predict college closures, estimating that up to 80 colleges could close next year due to financial distress, following a worst-case scenario drop in enrollment. Ooh, one can hope. What, for all you professors that never worked a day in your lives, what's that like the first day you realize you might have to, do something worthwhile? Like you might have to use your arms and your legs. Like you might have to, I don't know, wash windows or something. Like it's over with your doctorate in communications. What do? You just constantly look for more teaching jobs? For-profit colleges once drove closure rates. However, in the past 5 years, private nonprofits have outpaced for-profit schools in this alarming trend. No, it's a great trend. It's a great trend. You are inefficient. You do not serve the economy. People do not see the ROI on investment in education, and they're dropping out. Oh, well, there's also less people. Nonprofit college closures have gradually increased. According to the data collected by the Higher State of Education Office and made publicly available by the Hetchinger Report, approximately 312 colleges and universities granting at least associate degrees closed between 2008 and 2024. That's not enough. It's not, yeah, you can see the Obama years where he stopped the Pell Grants to those fly-by-night schools. And now private nonprofit closures are going up. It's actually highest it's been since it's been recorded. From 2012 to 2019, for-profit colleges closed at a far higher rate than nonprofits. Since the Obama administration, the government has monitored these colleges to ensure the value to students. Specifically, the Obama administration ruled gainful employment for colleges, meaning colleges must prove the value of their degrees. It's one of the few things he did right. I'll give him credit on that. The decision heavily impacted for-profit scam institutions. The Trump administration shed gainful employment requirements before the Biden administration reverted to Obama's ruling. I'm going back to that. I'll agree with the Democrats on this one. Biden also tightened the leash on for-profits by closing a loophole that enabled many schools to skirt certain funding rules by aggressively recruiting veterans and service members. During Trump's second presidency, those restrictions on for-profits could loosen again. Now, private nonprofit schools, private, are suffering from the predicted enrollment cliff and higher operating costs, while for-profits are slowly disappearing from the scene. You all need to go away. All of you. Every single one of you, all liberal arts colleges, and unless you're private and you can offer the world's dumbest degrees, I want all of you who receive government go away. Burn it to the ground so there's only engineering programs, polytechnics, accounting programs, dentistry, trade schools. And the rest of you can go to the library and self-teach yourself on figuring your own butthole with a sociology degree, whatever you want. You're going to go to a private school, you're going to study at the library and get it for free. The former for-profit giant University of Phoenix was recently acquired by the nonprofit University of Idaho, for example. Phoenix University, I remember them. In the December 2024 report, the Federal Reserve found that fiscal challenges and enrollment cliffs are the strongest predictor of a college's closures. Just can you not pop up ad? That'd be, thank you very much. The researchers studied two worst-case scenarios that could impact colleges. In a scenario of an abrupt and a massive enrollment drop, 80 colleges would close, impacting over 100,000 students. You know what I mean? Saving 100,000 students their money and their future financial lives. And 20,000 staff. 20,000 more people who can enter the workforce and actually produce something. Perhaps serve me coffee. If enrollment drops gradually over the next 5 years, an average of 4.6 colleges we could lose annually, impacting over 7,300 students and 1,200 staff each year. So let me do it's a 1 out of 5. You need, for every 5 students, you need a staff member? The fuck out of here. Here's a map. It's kind of in the population centers, more focused on the East Coast than not. Here's a list. East Georgia State College, Rosemont College, Bluffton University, Northland College, that's Wisconsin. Oh, and here's the reasons. Merging. Financial. Cornish College of the Arts. Oh, not an arts college. Where will you be able to draw that bear technique that we saw like 15 years ago? Can you draw this bear? Maybe you should go to college. Give us all your money. Eastern Nazarene College, Fontbonne University. I remember that. St. Ambrose University, St. Andrews University, the University of Texas Health Center at San Antonio. Birmingham Southern College, Cabrini College, Delaware College of Art and Design. Oh, You do know when the art colleges close, that is saving you art students so much freaking money. That's the best thing to happen to you. I know you don't like it, but you were just wasting your time and money there anyway. Goddard College, Hodges University. Can I order? Well, let me organize by state. I want to see where's Minnesota, huh? Come on, Minnesota and Wisconsin. LM. Oh, there's no colleges in Minnesota. I can't wait for what's the one in North? There's two in Northfield. I can't wait for those to close. I cannot wait. Let's go to Wisconsin. I don't remember Wisconsin. What happened when a college is closed? I don't care. There you go. Let me look up Wesleyan. Is a private institution. This says that it's still open. This looks like it's still there. Was. Okay, so the website is still up. Private University, Mount Pleasant, Iowa. First co-education institution affiliated Administrative Church, campus. Private college. What kind of degrees did it offer? 4-year bachelor higher end learning, historical places, chapel, higher learning commission. Close. Student life. Active military department. Greek life. Athletics history. They mention all the sports ball achievement. That's important. You have sports ball achievement. Degrees offered. Bachelor's Arts, Bachelor's of Science, Business Administration, Education, Science. What's sciences? Biology, Criminal Justice, Exercise Science. Okay, so there's no real. This is just, I'm a fuck up out of high school. No other school is going to accept me. Where do I go? And I live in Iowa. May I present you Wesleyan University? This is babysitting for adults. That's all the colleges have become, is babysitting for adults, adult children. That's it. You are not critical to the economy. You are absolutely not critical to the economy. I don't care what the Federal Reserve says. Let's go to the super chats and see how many people are celebrating with you. Oh, by the way, link below is a book called Worthless, The Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. And then, what the hell else was there? Oh, no, I linked to something else. For your information, Bob, $5. I see a future where AI professors will be a thing. Mark my words. I think kids are just so burnt out. And they see where going to college does not get their older brothers and sisters employment. They're looking at they may be dumb or they may be young, but they're not blind. And they're seeing all these kids having trouble and they need a student loan bailout and life sucks and I can't find a job. Young people, like, it's just like marriage. They saw the parents get divorced. They saw their elder siblings, perhaps their parents go to college and get ruined. And like, I'm not doing that. If you, never mind. I'm not even going to bother going to do that. You guys are too bad. Colleges, universities. Bye-bye. 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 I'd help you out, but you ain't going to listen. So, and if you're good at something, never do it for free. Half. For your information, Bob, 10 generous dollars again. Colleges are the main reason why the birth rate is falling due to, you are right. Outstanding connection, Bob. Outstanding connection. You saddle young women with a shit ton of student loan debt, not an employable degree, a joke of a degree. You pound at that education's the most important. And all of a sudden they're 32. They ain't got no money. They're crippling in debt. They have no real job. They're probably brainwashed by colleges and universities not to like men too much. And now you wonder why the birth rates are going. Congratulations, Feminist Studies Department. You sealed your own demise. What are the Women's Studies Department's majors supposed to do? You succeeded. Like we sent our troops over in World War II. We defeated Germany. Like, what do? We go home. Are you Feminist Studies majors going to go home now that you successfully cut off the future procreation of humans? Thank God you kept women out of being mothers and wives. Success. We're all the people to pay for our Social Security. Birth rate is falling due to promoting feminism. Create a lottery scam called student loan program on the basis of profit and not education. Outstanding. Shark Toss. Everybody subscribe to Shark Toss. $10. Munches. This is some good popcorn. You want some, Cappy? Hey, Shark, does it have I appreciate the butter, but does it have garlic salt? I like garlic salt on mine. And if if it's a liberal arts college that's closing, I like just a little dash of dill. You know what I'm saying? Just to, so the trick is not to use too much garlic sauce or salt, right? You can just, if you could steam butter, that would be the way to put that's the right amount, just a hint of butter, and appropriate, not too much garlic sauce, and just a little bit of dill. Man, it's some good popcorn, man. So if you got that type of popcorn, I'll have some. You want some, Cappy? I got the switch right here. Isn't it fun watching all these academics try to rationalize? It's very important. The economy's going to collapse. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have killed off the birth rate. Maybe you should have rethought about, hey, let's weaponize one sex against the other, and we'll make the one sex that's kind of like the bottleneck and choke point because of biology to having the kids. We'll make them the ones that get really super picky and hate the other sex. Have you thought about that? I should look up that guy. Hang on. Let me look her up. Maybe she's hot. Maybe she's a hot economist. Let me take a look. I'll pull up the other. No, that's the Bloomberg. Oh no, this is the one. Hang on. Where'd the lady go? Demographers. Oh my God, the world's ending because I won't get my government check anymore. Oh no, I might have to use my hands, and I don't know the difference between a wrench and a screwdriver, said other PhD person. Center statistics, municipal markets, buyer. Catherine Bond Hill. Let me take a look. Do not bother this lady. Just Catherine Bond Hill. Oh, okay. Whoa. What? Okay, you can look her up. Don't bother her, but look her up. You're like, oh, yeah, I see. You're probably, yeah, all right. You're not in the women's studies department? Okay. All right. For your information, Bob, $5. College should go back to the basics of merit, such as scholarship programs, the students' high GPA, average period. We need to get rid of colleges and universities, except for engineering, accounting, and there should be no prereqs or undergrad. Like medical school, no, we're not having you get a 4-year degree. No, that's ridiculous. You can apply, but we don't require a 4-year degree. I mean, if you have one, it's not going to hurt you either. We need to make it so young people can find a living wage employment easier, and having them go to school for 4 to 6 years, the first 2 of which are completely wasted as a welfare jobs program for liberal arts professors. We need to get rid of all that. And by the time they are 18 coming out of high school, they have some basic skills and trades that they can go and work in the U.S. economy for. That's it. There's no reason. We do not need colleges and universities, except in very unique, specific cases. And I wish people would just take that view and realize you're helping out the younger people in doing so. Iron Horse Reviews, $5. Just today, I heard my local news report, Youngstown State's seen a big drop in males because they are opting for trades. Yes! Hang on, let's look it up. So these men are choosing to be productive, investable members of the economy by avoiding a college degree, unlike the lady from 1912 who has her degree in economics. Youngstown enrollment down, men trades. Come on. Give me the news. Decline in city school district. That's the city school district. Can you email that to me? You have my email, right? Send it to me. Youngstown State. Maybe I should type that in. Youngstown State. See, surge in enrollment. This says there's a surge in enrollment. Send it to me because the article here says there's a surge. And then this one says there's a decline. Isn't journalism fun? All right, let me close out of that. Do I want to go play poker tonight? I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish here. Because they are opting for the trades, we need to convince women to. We do. But and the data shows. Okay, so like everything, us men lead the pack. I can't help it that we're ahead of the curve, ladies. Someday maybe you'll catch up. But joking aside, the good news is both men and women are attending college less. Enrollment for both men and women is going down. However, men is going down faster than women because I think this is bullshit. Women, I don't know if you're more easily propagandized or you like the idea of college or your parents just don't love you. I don't know why. Or maybe, you know what probably is, colleges aren't as hostile towards women, generally speaking. But when you look at attendees to trade school, both men and women are also going up. So that's good. What we need is like next year, the 2025-2026 school year, 90% of the young kids drop the fuck out of their college degrees. They all go to trade school. They all become carpenters and they start building their own houses. So because the boomers aren't going to save you. The government's not going to help you. Gen X isn't going to save you. You're going to have to do it yourself. So I recommend you learn how to build houses. And then all these colleges and universities close. All these professors have to go out and like they end up working for the tradesmen and tradeswomen that went to college for trades instead. And they hire the former professor to teach like, hey, you're the asshole that stole $50,000 from me to teach me to hate men. Yeah, you're going to go and pour concrete. You're going to haul gravel with a wheelbarrow. Oh my God. And then there was a housing boom and standards of living increased and no one went to college and academics were confused. Steve in accounting, $5. Hey, Steve. Divorce rates also declining. Seen it. Studies say like a rock. And I don't mean because of less marriages. I mean the rate. I wonder what to look at then. I thought, now it's about 2 years old data, Steve. It could have been updated. The divorce rates were going down because the marriage rates were going down. But when you took the divorce rate divided by the marriage rate, it more or less stayed the same, meaning the percent of marriages that ended in divorce were roughly the same. But since the overall amount of marriages dropping off a cliff, so divorces are dropping off a cliff, goodfully, rightfully so. If you want, Steve, if you're bored, you can go play economist. Look it up. The Center for Disease Control. I'm pretty sure that's where divorce and marriage statistics are because marriage and divorces are both diseases. Oh, Froggy. 5,000 Korean won. They'll fill with foreign students from second and third world countries. That's what's happening here. The I've played this game before moment. Then we really do not like minorities and foreigners, do we? I love how the Democrats all say, like, we care about not white people so much. Is that why you screw them over with worthless college degrees? I've known people from India. They come over here. They don't have a lot of money. They spend their money on all these, especially business degrees. Oh my God, the Carlson School of Management alone. Like, do you personally hate India? What did they do to you? Why are you hoodwinking them for these worthless degrees? Unless it's in accounting, of course. Like, what did the Indians do to you? Like, oh my God, an American degree. This is so important. I hope you could find a job back at home. I hope. Because you sure the fuck aren't going to find one here. And then it's one thing if you're Becky from the suburbs and you're $50,000 in debt. I can't imagine if you're Punjab from New Delhi and you're 50,000 US in debt. Though I guess at that time you just don't pay back the American lenders that lent you the money. Say to hell with you, come get me. My truth, the king. Don't forget, they also ain't got no eggs. No more eggs. They all dried up inside. No more eggs. Ain't gonna have no kids. Died in the defrost. You ain't gonna have a child. With all the chromosomes, you ain't got no eggs. Steve in accounting, $10. Girls still say, ew, an electrician. Girls need, yeah, I don't know. I never had kids. I had my nieces, and because I was always there, I guess I had an influence on them. Dads, where are you to train and raise your daughters so they're not like, ew, an electrician? Like, no, an electrician. You should get girls to say, ew, a commercial loan officer. Ew, gross. That's like a realtor. He never has consistent income. Ew. That's who you should ooh over. One of my best friends is a realtor. You should say, oh, HVAC, oh, you can aerate my house any day. That's who you want. I don't know where you go from there. A sitcom in the 90s, Veronica's Closet, cemented office people don't date trash people. Is that what they said? Was that the quote? Closing scene, they took out trash together. Okay, good. Death Punch, new guy, I think, $5. What are your thoughts on people who lie about having degrees and experience to get a job? I'm 100% sympathetic with them. Now, like if it's a doctor or a civil engineer or something important, but if these corporals are going to lie on job descriptions, going to lie on job postings, they're not even jobs. They have absurd because bachelor's required, master's preferred. For what? Business administration? Absolutely. I have no problem. No problem with that whatsoever. The college, when the college education requirements are not necessary, you're requiring millions of young people to go into crippling levels of debt to have an entry-level job that they don't need that college degree for. That's horrible. It's horrible what corporations did to all these kids for all these years. And look, it's not like these corporations are ethical either. I used to be like, okay, they're employers, it's their money. This is back when you could have good products and services. And now, no, you're just headed up by a bunch of fucking wankers, frankly, who will just, all they know is just to cut costs, cut quality, outsource it. No, fuck it. Corporations are acting unethically. Corporations are being discriminatory with DEI. You have every right to lie to these corpos, as long as it isn't like a mission critical. If you're an engineer, you should go to engineering school and be an engineer. But office admin, fuck you. I don't need an MBA. Oh yeah, I got an MBA from one of them private colleges that closed down during the Obama administration. Oh, I can't find the records. Iron Horse Reviews, $2. I'll find it. It was local talk radio. Cool. Thanks, Iron. Stephen Accounting, $5 again. You were dead on that. Americans didn't have what it takes to build industry here again. Oh, dead on that Americans, though trades, etc. Trump looking for offer ramps to the tariffs, off ramps to the tariffs. Americans do not have it, right? Americans are not going to show up and become tradesmen and tradeswomen. Americans do not have to go work in a factory and build ball bearings, but they're going to have to. And I know, especially with the low shit quality products coming out of China. I don't know. I'm sick and tired of it's almost like you have no moves, but the worst move is to sit and do nothing. So fuck it. Let's do tariffs and fuck some shit up and move some shit around. And at minimum, the consolation prize is a lot of productions coming back here. Now, I know it's very minor, but I think it's called Dragons of the Coast or Wizards of the Coast. The people who own Dungeons and Dragons here in the United States, they're pissed off because they were sourcing all their dice and materials over from China. Well, there's a local company here who's now making dice and figurines, and little board game equipment and accoutrements. Is that going to balance the trade deficit? No, but it's a start. I'm sick and tired of like everything's made in China, including our mission critical stuff like insulin and steel, and the fucking shit don't work. And maybe, just maybe, it'd be all right if you had an honest day's hard work of, working on a line or something. But no, Madison and Tanner and Yaden and Baden and Hayden and Jaden and Sladen and Fladen and Plagan and Zibin and Holzenflat, none of them, oh my God, but I have a master's degree. But at least the jobs, in theory, over a long enough time will be here. I'm not holding my breath, though. Like, you need to consistently hold these tariffs for companies to say, oh, this is a permanent fix. Okay, we'll start investing in the United States. Me being much more direct, of course, I'd be like, oh, you're outsourcing those jobs? We'll take your whole fucking company with you. No, get the fuck out of here. Which you can't do as a president because rights and all that. But I'd be like, oh, you're hiring foreigners? Okay, well, you're going to pay a tax. And that's going to go to the unemployment fund, the retraining fund of Americans. But, hey, I'm for the American worker, unlike the Democrats for the past 40 years. All right, there you guys go. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.